Oh,
Okay.
all right. There you go. Yeah,
All right. You want to start off?
I'll start off. Fantasy football gurus. Finally, the power rankings everyone's been waiting for. The two versus brothers get together and power rank the whole league, the best league in the whole world. How you doing, Alfredo?
Good, bro. Good, good. Ready to get the season started. I know we got some of the early rankings from everybody, but now we're going to give our perspective. And again, at least you're going to give your ranking, and then obviously I'm going to give mine. We're going to do it one after the other. My way of doing it, there will be no emotion, no bias. But I will use my feelings, what I think will happen, my expertise throughout all these years, Pedro.
Okay.
So I know you have a lot of time in your plate because you're, enjoying there with no work, no nothing.
Yeah, something like that. I could dedicate a lot more time to this podcast and everything that I want to do nowadays.
Have you seen Steven's wife?
No, bro. Steven, I go to the 600 building. I went to 600 building twice already. I haven't seen it. I'm still waiting for her to call out my team being garbage.
All right, man. All right. Yeah. I know for sure once Steven watched this, he's gonna let her know and she's gonna be looking out for you, bro.
I bet, bro. I bet.
Well, so Pedro, I know you've been gravitating because you really want to give your rankings. You feel that you've been disrespected, and now this is your opportunity to disrespect another. So if you go ahead and you share the screen right now with the Two versus Brother podcast, this is our league that has all the players. So Pedro, let's start at the bottom of the barrel, the worst of the worst, like our friend Franklin would say, El Churre.
Churri.
Who do you have at number 10?
Well, Alfredo, as I'm getting barreled down here in a rainstorm, I may lose power, so I want to get this done, especially the last people down as fast as possible. But before I continue, I do want to say, obviously, there's no feelings involved here, just like you. I am a machine when it comes to this. I'm saying it what everything that I see in my years of experience with fantasy football, and here is number 10,
Who's number 10, Pedro?
El Churri of the league. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna give it to Ralph's majestic team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ralph has been in the bottom of many of the rankings.
Yes, yes. I have to give it to Ralph. To be honest, if he would have taken a different route in a couple of these picks, he would be much higher on the list. But man, it seemed like he started drinking way too early when we were out there in Buffalo Wild Wings. Um, just to start off at the top of the list, the quarterback is not ideal. Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback, but he is not a quarterback that I will say will be something that you're excited for to have your fantasy football. And of course, when I look at it, he also has Brock Purdy, but that's another guy that's not something that we're going out and saying that we're excited about. Um, and if you could see, his first overall pick was Bijan Robinson. Bijan is a great pick in my opinion. That's not the reason why he's in the bottom of the barrel. He's in the bottom of the barrel because of the quarterback situation he picked up. Waited forever to pick one up. I'm not against streaming quarterbacks, but this is a league that's very competitive. And you and me both know, Alfredo, that if you have a bad quarterback or you have a bad situation, injuries, things like that, it could hinder your performance in this league.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I was the one experiencing it as well, with no quarterback. And Pedro, I'm gonna give my ranking, my number 10 as well with this, and I agree with you. Ralph for me is in the bottom of the barrel. Why? He had a great pickup with Bijan Robinson, in which that was a very good pickup, but then everything else questionable. Where Puka, I mean, I do believe he's going through some injuries. But then two wide receivers in the same team. So
Yeah.
you're basically putting all your eggs in one basket with the Rams. What happens if Stafford gets hurt? You're gonna affect Puka, and you're gonna affect Cooper Cup. I love the Dalton Kincaid pickup. I mean, that's
Yeah.
excellent. A lot of question with the running backs after Bijan Robinson. If you go scroll down, and then obviously you mentioned the biggest point of all, in which is quarterback. No quarterback. I would be starting Terry McLaurin over T Higgins maybe because
Yeah.
we don't know what's gonna be happening there. And if you go down through the bottom of the roster, I mean, there's no upside. I love the Jaden Reed guy. Keaton Mitchell could be a potential steal. He has him in IR right now down the road. But other than that, I mean, I would give as well this guy number 10.
Yeah, it's a there's not a lot of upside in on his bench. Of course, I do like the Courtland Sutton pickup. He's been good in the last few years. Not great, but good. Tyler Lockett, the guy's old. He's been around for a while. He's not a bad wide receiver, but here we are. Tony Pollard, Tennessee is not going to be a good offense this year. Forget about it. I do agree with you, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker, Cooper Cup, and Puka Nakua. It's very interesting because I had Puka Nakua last year and I had Cooper Cup the year before that. And Puka is awesome, but the problem is Cooper is getting old. Cup is getting old and he's getting and basically he's getting washed. I don't believe that he's gonna have a bad season this year, but there's too much risk here for me to like it.
All right, Pedro. Let's go on to number 9. Who do you have at number 9?
Number 9, I have here Mr. Alfredo. Number
What?
9, the close to the bottom of the barrel. You are the roach on top of the poop that is Ralph's majestic team.
Bro, you must be high. Why? Why? Let's analyze the dream team. Why do you think I'm number 9?
Look, you
Yeah,
took.
right. I still can't get over this.
Well, let me explain to you, Alfredo. You didn't have a bad pickup in Jamar Chase. You took him early. You could have had Tyreek Hill at this position. And to be quite frank, that was to me one of the biggest mistakes that you made because as everybody has said and that has talked in the podcast, you can't mess up your first 2 picks. Jamar Chase is not bad. He's not a
I'll
bad.
tell you this. Messing up the first pick. Jonathan last year had Nick Chubb out for the year. So, you can mess up on your first and still win it all.
Oh, you can, and that's where it comes with quality of the owner of the team. You are, in my opinion, there are very few teams in this league that have quality owners that are consistently looking for trades, consistently scouring free agency in the waiver wire and looking for guys. You are one of them, so I do not expect you to stay down here very long because, of course, you are the cockroach. You do not die. You always find a way to get into the playoffs. So I don't expect you to stay here very long. But this is what we have as a team. Jamar Chase, you could have taken Tyreek Hill, you could have taken CMC, you didn't. Devonta Smith, he's been somewhat disappointing last year, but I believe will be better this year. But the thing that got me the most, that the 2 things that got me the most upset with your team is Devon Achane. I'm not a fan of Devon Achane. It's not that he's not an electric player, but the guy is 5'8", 180 pounds. I weigh more than him. I don't think that he's going to be able to keep up with a workload as a starting running back even though isn't the starting running back. Raheem Mostert didn't go anywhere. So that's one of the reasons why I picked him up in one of the last rounds because he was available. Ramondre Stevenson, he is a good running back, but he is in a bad offense. I try my best not to get people from bad offenses because it doesn't make sense unless like this guy is like a star maybe Saquon Barkley or something like that last year that I made that mistake. But here we are.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with a different route on number 9. I will not be putting myself there. I'm actually going to be putting Armando at number 9. Yo by Goya. Now, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm taking a step back. I'm
Okay.
actually going to put because I have your will up, but you know what? He by the way that he did his ranking, I know that he's going to break out of this. So I feel that he's going to be much higher than where I have. I'm actually going to put you, Gladiators, at number 9.
Okay.
And your team is full of question marks. I do love the Stroud pickup, but Jonathan Taylor, you know, this has been a total has been. He has been pumped up only by Franklin, but Jonathan Taylor has been a has been. David Montgomery is in an offense full of running backs, so there's nothing there impressive that I would see from it. You have two teams from the Colts, so you telling me that you're getting that you don't want to get players from bad offense. Well, you get two players from the Lions, which they're not even target, and then two players from the Colts. So you're putting all your eggs with one team, and then Raheem Mostert. Why you don't like Devon A. Chain? Because you have Raheem Mostert. But what's gonna happen is that
Mm.
if Devon A. Chain is who we think he is, you're gonna have a wasted pick up there with Raheem Mostert. So I feel that Gladiators will be continuing his playoff streak, not making it
Mm.
at number 9. So let's move on to number 8. Who do you have at number 8?
Oh, Freddie, you're trying to piss me off too early, bro. Number 8. Number 8, I'm actually gonna put here Armando because I'm I'm not gonna how does he say that name? Yo Goya.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm not too excited with his team either. I actually do like the Brees Hall pickup. That was a good pickup in the first round. He couldn't have messed up because Brees Hall is a talent that we saw last year and did very well, and even in the offense without Aaron Rodgers, that everybody knew that they were going to run the ball.
Yep.
So that's to me is a very good pickup. But here's where we are going to come into some problems. Nico Collins. Nico Collins is a good player, but the problem is that he is a good player surrounded by other good players in a high powered offense. There are going to be games where Nico Collins is the guy. There's going to be game where Stephon Diggs is the guy, and there's going to be games where Tank Dell is the guy. I don't think they're all going to blow up in the same game. So that is why I picked up CJ Stroud because I know he's going to do well. Now, that and another one, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle has been last year was hurt. I do expect him to do better this year because they are most likely going to spread the ball around a little bit more than they did so that they could preserve both Waddle and Hill so that when they get to the playoffs, they're not hurt. So it's maybe a little bit better for Waddle and a little bit worse for Hill, but definitely he's going to be better than this, just not that much better. And then when I look down, I look at Rashid Rice, where he picked them up. I expected Rashid Rice to get suspended. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Um, so far, nothing has been said about that I know. But if there is a suspension being handed down, this guy's not going to be available for 4 to 6 weeks. So, and of course,
Okay.
there we go. The Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, bad offense, and a running back from a bad offense. So we already talked about that.
Okay. I'm gonna put number 8 at Tiburon.
Mm.
I feel a lot of people are giving him a lot of hype on his team and on his draft selection, but I see full of question mark. Malik Neighbors, excellent pickup. That's probably the only pick and obviously I'm on St. Brown. Those are his two receivers. I love both of those guys. But Devontae Adams, question mark there. Alvin Kamara, we don't know how long he's gonna last. And you have, Kyle Pitts. Maybe this year will be the bounce back, but a lot of question marks. If you continue going down through the bottom of the roster, the bench, there's no bench. And like one word that Steven loves to say is prepare for winter. What happens if Alex start getting injuries? Because injuries will happen.
Mm.
He's gonna start trending. He's not an owner that is that involved. So I have a feeling that based on this, Alex will not make he. That's why I consider him number 8.
Okay.
Let's move on. Number 7, Pedro. Who do you have on number 7?
All right. Here at number 7, I am going to put Los Coquis, Lex. He is just on the outs of the playoffs. If we were to start, obviously there's no games being played, but if we were to start in my head the playoffs, he will be number 7. The Jalen Hurts pickup, I do like Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. They're not going to stop with the tush push. Maybe they would do something different with Saquon Barkley, just to make sure that Jalen Hurts stays healthy. But then he goes and he gets AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. As we saw last year, this is a running team. And with the addition of Saquon Barkley, they're going to be even more of a running team. Um, AJ Brown, I think, will regress this year. He is still a great wide receiver. I just think he's going to regress a little bit, and I don't think he should have gone and picked him up where he did. Again, Debo Samuel. I like Debo. I think this year he's going to do very well. He's trying to get a contract this year, so he's gonna do his best. But then he comes to the running backs, Joe Mixon. As we saw last year, there was no kind of in Houston, no running back did
Are those his
anything.
running backs? Let me see. Mixon, Swift. Who else does he have?
That's it. It's Chase
Wow.
Brown and Blake
Chase
Corum
Brown.
and
Wow.
Tyler Algier. So he has no running backs. And he's gonna have to trade. In my opinion, he's gonna have to make a trade or two to get running backs and quick, because these guys are not that good. Joe Mixon didn't do well last year. Houston is not a good running team. That's not is not going to be good for him. So I do like the Mark Andrews pickup, and I do like Xavier Worthy, and I really do like Marvin Harrison Jr., especially in the team that he's going to, because if that team is what we think of a Kyler Murray led team, that guy's going to eat. So besides that, this is why I have him here. On to you, Alfredo.
No, man, and I'm on board. The same thing with you here. I'm gonna put Los Cookies at number 7. Again, is Eagles or bust. Last year he got burned by Eagles and bust. His love for him is he's blinded by them.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I do feel Jalen Hurts will be better this year. All that about him that this is trending down. I think it's overblown. He's going to be better, but still, it's too much. Dependent on the Eagles. He has no running backs. I mean, people talk about my running back situation, but this is as bad
This is
as
a
it could be.
disaster.
This could be the definition of a jury, and this can get ugly very fast.
Yeah.
Everything else you said, Pedro, I agree. I love his receivers, but the running back situation will put him down. So that's why this is the thick of the playoff, the teams that will not make the playoffs. Now we're gonna move on to the teams that will be making it. So let's start at number 6. Who do you have at number 6, Pedro?
Fredo, at number 6, I have Gladiators actually making the playoffs after a 10-year hiatus. And he will be in the trail end of the playoffs. So he's not fighting for any buys. He's gonna be at the very end. In my opinion, week 14 is gonna be make or break, and he is gonna beat the dream team to make the playoffs. So let's go into his team so we could take a look. CJ Stroud, excellent pickup, especially for a keeper league. He's a very good quarterback. Maybe he took him a little bit earlier, but I know that having a good quarterback, as Franklin has said in the past, is the difference between making a playoffs and not making a playoffs. And you can't go much better than CJ Stroud.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson, excellent pickup in number 10. We do expect him to do a lot better this year, especially that we have Aaron Rodgers back. Michael Pittman Jr. This is where things start to go south. Michael Pittman Jr., in my opinion, is a good wide receiver. I expect him to eclipse 1,000 yards. The problem is that this team is going to be more of a running team. So I don't see Michael Pittman Jr. to be a great pickup, especially where he went. But I do understand why he went there, because of what was around. and he was at the tail. He had to pick at the tail end of that round, and that's the best available player. If not, he would have to wait a very long time to pick up somebody else. I do disagree with you with the Jonathan Taylor thing. Jonathan Taylor is running behind an elite, or basically elite. I don't know who disagrees with me. Elite offensive line. What I do have issues with is that Anthony Richardson is going to steal a lot of carries from him and most likely steal touchdowns from him. That's why Jonathan Taylor is he was the fourth running back last year. I do not expect him to continue to be fourth, but he is still going to be in the top 10. Montgomery, this is where you wanted to come back on me a little bit. David Montgomery is still going to get a lot of carries in a top 5 Lions offense. So he is still going to be good. Laporta, self-explanatory. Mostert, you wanna poo-poo on Mostert, but the guy is good. He had 20 touchdowns last year. He's
Okay.
not going to go away.
Okay.
And of course, Allen. Allen has had the best year of his life, his whole career last year, and he's not going to stop just because he went to another team.
Okay. I'm gonna put in this case myself at number 6. I'm also predicting that our matchup at the end of the year will determine that 6 feet, and I think I'm gonna overseed and I'm gonna become the number 16. I'm gonna beat you in that week 15 matchup or week 14 to be able to clinch the final spot of the playoffs. I mean, you look around this and going, what Franklin was saying, Josh Allen, you need a good quarterback to make the playoff. Well, there's no one better than Josh Allen. You look around, speed, elite talent, elite speed all over. Jamar Chase, there's no words to describe, how great he is, how he is in an elite situation with the Bengals. Jamar Chase, we should basically call him Jamar Elite Chase, because there's nothing that can define. I mean, look at the rest of the team. There are some question marks in the running back, but I think I try to think long term. Durant, Brooks might be a good thing. And if something happens with A Chain, well, I have the rookie, the Dolphins running back, right, also waiting in the bench. So, in a way, the team is protected. If something happens, the two running backs, Singletary and the other guy,
Rico Dowdle.
Stevenson, those will be interviewing between one and the other. So I feel that I will be the number 16 um, to make the playoffs. So let's go to number 5, Pedro. Who do you have at number 5?
All right, here at number 5, I am going to put the Shark. Alex, another person that has seen a little bit of a hiatus from the playoffs, but he has done very well this year. Obviously, if Kyler Murray does not get hurt, we have to put that in preface. If Kyler Murray does not get hurt, he is going to be a top 5 quarterback in the league. He has a lot of rushing upside. Of course, he picked up Malik Neighbors. I am not as high on Malik Neighbors as others are because Daniel Jones has not produced a 1,000-yard receiver in his whole career. So it's a tall task to ask this guy to do that now. But if this guy ends up being the truth, it'll be because of his talent, because he does have it. Devontae Adams. A lot of people are down on Devontae Adams. I am not as down as other people
I mean,
because
remember, he's 32 years old. So
I know this is a keeper league, so most likely he's not going to be somebody that he keeps in the future, but he is still going to produce this year. It's going to be tough because the situation over there, the quarterback's not going to be easy, but I do agree with Danny as saying that Devontae Adams is a specimen that if I would take him over Justin Jefferson, right, and they're both in their primes. So, but then again, his prime is not now. Saquon, Alvin Kamara, both good running backs. I do not like the Saquon Barkley to Philadelphia because, of course, now you also have a quarterback that could run in that team, so it makes it a little bit different. Alvin Kamara is getting old. Kyle Pitts should have a resurgence, and then the pickup of all pickups. This is what's going to save him. Amon-Ra St. Brown. This guy is the truth. This guy, the sun god, the false god, whatever it is you want to call him, he's the truth. So this is going to be the reason why he makes the playoffs. This guy right here. And then Tyjae Spears, I don't even know why he's there, to be honest. But that's what I have.
Okay. Well, at number five here, I'm actually going to put Armando in here. I feel, and like I mentioned before, the way he does his, like for example, he impressed me the way he did his power rankings. He knows his football, and I think he's gonna find the right move. Yes, some question mark with Nico Collins, Rasheed Rice, but remember these are draft day moves. If Nico Collins does well, nobody's gonna remember that he was picked up in the second round. Rasheed Rice, we still don't know much what's gonna happen with him. He might end up playing. Obviously, I love the Brees Hall pickup. I think he will be the number one running back. Also, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Waddle. I do feel, and here's where it's going to be controversial. What I'm going to say, Tyreek Hill will take a step back. This is my hot take that I'm going to have. Tyreek, he's going to be good, but not elite. He's going to take a step back. And Waddle, you're going to see him and Waddle very close with the reception, with the yards. I'm telling you, Mike McDaniel has been promising that the Dolphins will spread the ball more this year. So don't be surprised that Jalen Waddle will be close enough to Tyreek Hill. So based on that, Dolphins are a high-powered offense. This will help Armando, to all the way to the playoffs at number five.
Okay.
Let's go on to number four. Now we're getting to the creme of the creme.
Yeah, the creme de la
Who,
creme here.
who do you have at number four, Pedro?
Here is where I'm going to put Steven. Steven, to me, we're going to go to this team Silence of the Lamb. If, to be quite honest, if CeeDee Lamb did not get paid, I seriously thought that this guy was going to hold out. Seems like he did get paid. It doesn't seem to me that there's any issues in Dallas because once people get paid, everything is good. The only issue that I do have, he did not practice. He did not practice all this time. He was holding in because that's basically what they do now. They don't hold out anymore. They hold in, and that's where you get a lot of soft tissue issues. That's where you have a possibility of getting injured. We did see him pick up Justin Jefferson last year and get injured in the middle of the year. And this is one of the main reasons why I have him so high because the strength of owner. He found a way to get to the playoffs. As devious as it was, he made it there. Obviously, he has Anthony Richardson. If Anthony Richardson stays healthy the whole year, I'm telling you right now, that's the QB1 for the whole league. That offense, that Indianapolis offense, is going to be elite if Anthony Richardson stays on the field.
Well, you owned them last year, so you for sure know,
Yeah, for sure, man. That guy is elite, and of course, his running back situation. Isaiah Pacheco is awesome. I believe Rashad White is going to have another good year. David Njoku is a tight end that is a very people have a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to David Njoku. I am one of those people. I do not see him as being a top tight end, but at the end of the day, he was a number 10 tight end in all of fantasy football last year, so he does belong on a team.
Okay.
George Pickens. George Pickens. Pittsburgh wide receiver. I do not like the pick. I told you in the last video that we did that I didn't like the pick, but the guy is still good. If Russell Wilson proves me wrong and makes this guy good, I will accept it. The guy, he somehow he made 1,000 yards last year. I don't know how he did it, but he did. So this guy
Okay.
has a good team.
I'm actually gonna put someone that we know very well. I'm putting Danny at number four.
Oh wow.
Why? All I see, Mr. Wreak Havoc.
There you
And
go.
I think he's gonna wreak havoc on his own team. There's a lot of question mark, and obviously, he's not having any starters. I mean, just based on the aspect that he's depending on Drake London. I am not a fan of Drake London. He has never proven anything with me, and what makes the difference that with Kirk Cousins is gonna make. the team much better. Tyreek Hill, I believe he's going to take a step back. We already talked about. I actually like some of his less star receivers. He got great pickups with Tank Dell. I think Calvin Ridley will step back. Mike Evans, a lot of question mark with that. I love his quarterback. But obviously, this is not the super team that we're accustomed of having. He still has question marks in running back. This is not a running back factory like we had in other years. So I'm gonna put Danny at number 4.
Okay. I like
Let's
that.
go on to number 3. So now we're getting close. Who do you have at number 3, Pedro?
Actually,
Let
I'm gonna have Danny at number 3.
Okay.
Danny to
Probably for the
me,
same reasons, right?
a lot of the same reasons. The only difference that I have with you is that I do like some of his pickups. The Drake London is a wild card to me because if Drake London, all the hype around Drake London is real, and we do have a different quarterback over there in Atlanta. If whichever one of them plays, because we did see Kirk Cousins get injured last year. If it happens again, I think they were still going to be in a good place with Penix. So if it's Penix or it's Kirk Cousins, if Drake London hype is real, he's going to be very good. He's gonna be even better than he was last year. Tyreek Hill, he is going to take a step back. I do agree with you. I do agree that that Waddle and Hill are going to have similar numbers, but I do believe Tyreek Hill will have better numbers.
Maybe
My
slightly.
Yeah, slightly better numbers. James Cook at Buffalo. I do expect them to run the ball more. And we did see after they had the OC change over there in Buffalo, they did start running the ball more, and they started winning games more. That's a key point. They started winning games more, and because of that is one of the reasons why Stephon Diggs is no longer there. They didn't need him.
I agree with you there. Actually, I'll give you there. James Cook, I do feel that he'll be good in Buffalo. I think Buffalo between Allen and Cook, they're going to be running a lot of the ball. He was very, good
Yeah,
toward the end.
he was very good
He
towards the end.
catches the ball. I actually think Cook might overdo Travis Etienne. So
I believe the same thing. Travis Etienne is still very good. He catches the ball out of the backfield. Tank Bigsby they're saying that he's going to have more of a role. That scares me a little bit, but still good. Um, James Conner, this is another guy, another running back that if Arizona is a team that we think them to be with Kyler Murray as their quarterback, this guy is going to eat. And he may be another top 10 running back. My only issue with this whole list with Danny is Tank Dell and Calvin Ridley. Tank
okay.
Dell is the same thing I said about Nico Collins. Is in a high power offense where one day it could be him, one day it could be on Nico, another day it could be Stephon Diggs. But specific with Tank Dell is a situation because Tank Dell is 5'8". He's a very small wide receiver. He's fast too. And from what I see, he's 190 pounds. I had it written down here. Uh,
Yeah, he's small.
he's a small back. So yes, he's a very small back, and I don't and that ground and pound of having an offense, being in an offense like this and continuing to produce. Last year he did get injured. I don't think he's going to do as well as Danny thinks he is.
Well, I'm gonna say, remember Nico Collins? I had Nico Collins last year, and the games that Nico Collins got affected was because of Tank Dell. So
Yeah.
I think Tank Dell and Stroud have a good chemistry.
No,
I'm gonna
definitely have
put
good chemistry. Definitely, but that being a smaller back, having a not being very big in general, like size, weight is going to affect him. Calvin Ridley, I believe Calvin Ridley is a good talent. He's just been in bad situations, and this doesn't help him in Tennessee because Tennessee's not going to be good. Tennessee's projected to be in the bottom of the barrel in offense, and if that's the case, where is he going to get the production? So
okay.
that's my issues with him. Besides that, he has a bench. Jaden Daniels, I like that pickup at quarterback because Jaden Daniels had looked great at preseason. He's going to run the ball, so he has a lot of rushing upside. So does his other quarterbacks. See if I can find him. Jordan
Fair
Love.
enough.
Jordan Love does have rushing upside, and he does rush the ball from time to time, and he does get touchdowns off of doing that. So Jordan Love is also an awesome pickup, especially for somebody that where he got him. That in a keeper league, he's gonna keep picking him up every year.
Okay. Well, my number three team, I'm gonna put Steven's team. You kind of already mentioned it, most of the stuff already. But CeeDee Lamb, I think he's gonna be fine. My I think George Pickens, he is the number one wide receiver, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no doubt about it. I think that just by targets alone, Christian Kirk is also going to be the number one receiver for the Jaguars. So I think he'll do great. Running backs, Pacheco and White, they're solid. Nothing too crazy about it. And then obviously, like you said, Anthony Richardson. If Anthony Richardson is who we think he is, he's going to be great. So let's roll on to number two. So let's try to get these fast enough. Number two, Pedro. We're getting on the two teams that we project that will be on the finals. Who do you have? It's either KMA or Franklin.
Well, afraid I'm gonna go with the latter. I'm gonna go with KMA at number two. Uh, KMA, Baba
Wow.
Yaga.
KMA, the defending champ. Though I'm not gonna call him two-time champ. That will never happen, but the champion.
Well, I'm gonna
Why you
call him
have KMA
two-time
at
champ.
number two?
I'm gonna call him two-time champ because I like rooting for the bad guys. But here we go. Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. He's expected to have a very good year. I don't expect him to be a number one quarterback, but I do expect him to have another solid year. I expect him to be probably in the top six, top seven in quarterbacks. And so I expect him to do very well. Stephon Diggs. This is somebody that you and me know very well. Um, Stephon Diggs, to me, will handle all the underneath routes in this team for Houston. So if this guy needs to have a dump off to somebody, it's going to go to Diggs. If there's a short route that they want to take advantage of, it's going to go to Diggs. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is turning 30, or he is 30. I'm sorry. So it's going to be a little bit of. This is not a pick for somebody that he's going to obviously pick every year and in a keeper league, but for to have somebody that's going to do well for now, this guy is very good. I'm we're expecting DK Metcalf to do better. As another guy you and me both know very well. But I don't see it. If he hasn't done it yet, he's not going to do it. So I don't see that doing very well. Christian McCaffrey. I don't know how you passed on Christian McCaffrey.
And
This
I'm gonna give my reason once when I talk about KMA.
Christian McCaffrey last year was the number one running back in all of fantasy football by a mile. If he does anything similar, he doesn't even have to do as much. Anything similar to that, he is going to be number one again. So,
Okay.
Derrick Henry, what can I say about him? A new team. If everything goes well over there, he's not very injury prone. He's very good. George Kittle, very good. Kyron Williams last year killed it. So if he does anything similar this year, he's going to kill it again. And Deontay Johnson, come on, man. He for a late pickup, that's pretty awesome.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go because my conscience does not allow me to put K-Man at number one. I'm actually gonna put him at number two. This can go very good or very bad. Actually, I have no confidence in his wide receivers. I mean, DK Metcalf, he is a very good wide receiver. But not to have him as your number one receiver, in your league. I mean, I love both of these guys. They were both on my team and they both burned me. So it'll be perfectly to burn Jonathan this year. My thought with the running backs, I think this will be the year that McCaffrey will go down. Not saying he has not only that he has the Madden curse, but also Christian McCaffrey. I mean, eventually it's gonna break down. Derrick Henry as well. This could go very wrong, people. I mean, people think that that he's great. If it goes well, he's a number two. But if it goes bad, he might even miss the playoff. And not because I have, against him, is because I feel that things can get very bad. And that's why I feel that came in won't be able to win the title, and that's why I have him at number 2. So obviously, we both agree on the number 1 team in this league, in which is Franklin Delgadillo. Obviously, Pedro, I know you're probably going to say the reason. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with what you're saying. And I guess we can dissect this. I mean, Justin Jefferson, right? That's a great player.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, I
Justin.
think he's gonna be fine. Jameer Gibbs, and obviously the big question for me is Brandon Ayuk. He could be, either at a bad situation or a very good receiver, situation. I think he's gonna stay at San Francisco, and they're gonna feed him the ball.
Yeah,
Um,
I do agree with you a little bit with that, Alfredo. Another guy also is that has held in. I'm sorry, that Brandon Ayuk. Remember, players that always that hold out or hold in and don't practice, they don't get a lot of reps. They go into the season and quite possibly get hurt. So this is a candidate for that, Brandon Ayuk. Hopefully, it doesn't happen because I don't want to see Mr. No Excuses not have one of his top weapons out in the field. But yeah, that's going to be one of those situations you got to watch out for.
okay. So we might think that Franklin might break the streak. I think very solid team overall. I think he'll be able to be at number 1. All right, Pedro, you could probably remove the share screen now. Um, guys, this is our power rankings of the Two versus Brother podcast. Pedro, you are well praised always on your analysis. So I know definitely the guys will enjoy this. And yep, this is who we think that will be the top team of the 2024 fantasy football group. And again, don't forget, don't to subscribe to the Two versus Brother podcast, the number 1 podcast in the world.
Yes, sir. You're right about that one, Alfredo. Like, subscribe, let everybody know what you think. Put it in the comments if you don't agree. And if you do agree, just give us a subscribe. Give us a like, man. Come on.
All right.
Let's see. All right. How do I stop this thing? Oh, yeah, on the bottom end. Meeting. All right. I don't.
So
Hold
it
on.
says in your computer. So
It's still recording. Hold on.